We're recording. We're recording. So sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work. 10 years from now, it'll always work. So, and then we'll be, anyways. How is Camila? And happy Wednesday.
Happy Wednesday. I'm doing well. It's great. It's sunny. Anytime it's sunny, it feels so good.
Yes, yes, and yes. And
how are you doing?
I'm doing awesome. And you know what? It's sunny and I'm sitting here patiently waiting on lots of things. We have to hit milestones before we get to the end of I always say, no matter what we do, no matter what, we have to break it down. We can't just get to, wow, I want to just all of a sudden have all this knowledge in my head, or wow, I want to be this person, or wow. We do have to break it down and put the work into it before every one of us. But it's awesome when it's all like certain things are coming together and they're just about there. So I'm really excited. We're not quite there, but we're just about there, and it's really, really exciting. So
awesome. Well, actually, that's a perfect segue, into what I wanted to talk about today, because we're at the end of the month. We're at the end of October. And, there are a couple of things that I do at the beginning of every month. So I wanted to share some tips and strategies for success. Some of you may be doing these things annually. Some people are doing them quarterly. Some people are not doing them at all. So I thought it would be great to say, I do them monthly, and there's a reason why you do these things monthly. So like you said, in bite-sized pieces, we don't get to the end result overnight, but we do get there, by little steps, right? Little steps towards your goal. But these tips and strategies that I wanted to share today are to ensure the success of your goal. Like we always focus on whatever the goals are, but then we don't look at what the background planning to get to that goal is. What puts you in the right mood and the right frame of mind to achieve that goal that you're after?
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Makes so much sense. Camila, it makes so much sense that whatever it is that you do, if you have lots of support, people around you, right? And they're doing everything they can, and they may even feel that's your goal. This is the thing. Well, it may be, but we all do things for different reasons. Like we do things, but what's our why, if you will? Mm-hmm. And when you are, how would I put, when you're in a scenario where it's coming together, others and others have shared their confirmation, like this is the way, and there's a lot of pieces kind of that do come together. And then everybody else sort of sees, oh my gosh, you were, and that's kind of the.
Well, and what I find with most people is it's motivation, right? It's that inspiration, that motivation to get going, to complete your goal. Yeah. And so these are the little things that I find actually give you that boost, actually clear the path for creativity so that you can accomplish what you want to accomplish. The first one is finances. You got to look at your bank account every single month. For many of us, if not everybody, finances, it's the foundation of everything. And it's also at the same time, the greatest source of stress for many people, right?
Yeah.
But if we don't learn how to handle the finances, it'll be the thorn in your side forever and ever and ever. So, and it doesn't have to be. That's one of the things that, my mentor taught me. It doesn't have to be. So how do you do that? Well, visit your bank account. I can't tell you how many people I talk to and they have no clue what's in their bank account. They just don't know. So I say, visit your bank account, pay your bills, know how much money you have to spend every month, know how much money you're able to put aside and save. That's like a huge topic because some people only have very small funds to save. So I'm talking like, under $50, maybe even under $100, but it's okay because that $10, that $20, that $50 that you saved makes you feel good. motivates you to complete, your next task. Here in Canada, for example, we're preparing for winter now, right?
Yep.
So the weather has turned and we know that snow is coming. Snow's already come in some parts already, which is really crazy.
North of us, but yeah.
Yeah, and so with the changing of the seasons, for example, there's vehicle maintenance, your tires, getting your car sprayed, whatever. So for me, I never used to be this prepared, but I am now. So in September, I started to look at what does my vehicle need this winter, and I do all of my vehicle maintenance in November. So how much is that? How much money do I need to put aside? What's that going to cost me? And so going into November, those funds are already there because I took a look at the bank account, and many people, what I find is they just go from paycheck to paycheck. I mean, we hear that a lot in the news anyway,
And we
right?
call it hand to mouth.
Yeah, right. So it's like, oh, I got paid this month. It's November. Oh my gosh. So I can only afford X number of dollars for winter tires. Like, really? Didn't need to be that way. This is my point. Doesn't need to be that way. And so most people don't visit their bank accounts because they're afraid of looking at it. They're afraid to say, oh my God, it's not where I thought it was going to be. And I want to just say it's okay, but you need to visit it. You need to be best friends with those numbers.
Yeah. It's oh gosh, Camille, I think it was almost 30 years ago. And I remember I used to write out because at that point we wouldn't have computers as much and so on. So it was almost this manual thing. And I would I'd write out the budget, and the budget would go at least 3 to 6 months in advance. Exactly. And every week, okay, that's what came in. That's what it gave herself. And we kind of go forward. Then, time unfolds, et cetera, et cetera. You start getting into computers, then you use an Excel spread. We can use Excel if we want. But depending on what you're going through in life, Camilla, sometimes, and then if you have children, and then things can get really consuming. And then if you are, like, oh my gosh, now I'm going to start a business. Okay, here we go on this. And then, okay, I got that door open. Then it gets to be a little, because then you're getting into the bookkeeping and the accounting, and you got your own house to manage, and got this house to manage, and got that over here. And so when there's all these kind of senses, Camilla, just having it, just write it down somewhere, write it down.
Even just as you're saying it, I'm getting anxious. It's like, oh my God, breathe, Michelle, breathe. Right. But that's actually the experience that people go through.
Well, and I think it's a really good, there's so much meaning behind why we have to step back and breathe. And believe me, going through 6 months of what I just went through, there was a whole lot of breathing I had to do.
Yeah.
Not everybody knew all the other things that were, and I literally just every day had, okay, deep breath, because when you run a small business, your cash flow is really important. Like, it's really, 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 really important. And you don't just sit there, and we don't run it so that, oh, that just goes here. No, you have X coming in and X coming out. That's invoicing, accounting, accounts payable, accounts receivable. But it's also when we really have to put the daily work into it, to just breathe, and go through it, and then turn to focus on, because this is, I think, a really important thing. There's many people, as they say right now, where we may feel we're a little bit stuck. We're a little bit this, and there really is, a lot. There's a lot more options out there for people than we're recognizing. I know COVID's impacted a lot, but there really is. Like, if anything, there are businesses that are growing right now in this industry, and they need people.
Yeah.
So the breathing was important. The budgeting is important. But you're right, like Camilla, we will never make enough money in our lifetime. So it is never about how much money you make. It's just simply about what are we doing with that money every month. So we have to know where it goes. It's important.
Yeah, we do need to know where it goes. I agree. The second strategy is scheduling appointments. A lot of times you want to schedule an appointment, and guess what? It's taken or it's not available. And then you're sort of caught off guard when they say, oh, we don't have anything for, another 6 weeks. And you're like, what? I need this appointment now. So scheduling appointments, whether it's your hairdresser, the dentist, the doctor, your mechanic, your therapist, visiting your mom, even put it in your calendar. This way,
Yeah.
you get to say when, you know, when these appointments work out for you versus them telling you and then you're feeling stressed like, oh my God, I got to get this done, right?
Oh,
So
so
schedule your
so
appointments at the beginning of the month.
important. Yeah,
Mm.
I can't emphasize enough what you're just sharing there. And we're like running a small business and getting people to put it in their calendar and everybody stay accountable.
Yeah.
And we're all growing our business. Like we're all, so in that respect, we be very purposeful with our time.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
And I
we
find
own
that
our time.
I'm less stressed and less anxious myself when I get to say those appointments go, you know, like for example, you know, this month there's parent teacher interviews and we have to book those. But I didn't find the time that I liked. It just, I didn't find, I like the times that were offered on the computer, you know, we have to sign up for them. So I contacted the teachers individually and I said, you know, can we go off the grid? And they were like, sure, what time works for you? And I was so happy. I'm like, oh my gosh, I
Oh,
could do Wednesday at noon, Friday at 9. I could, you know, create whatever schedule I wanted rather than being pigeonholed. So for me, scheduling appointments the way I want to do it, less stress, less anxiety for sure.
and you said something really important right there. We're in a world of technology. That's great. So there's options there. So here's the computer. You can go online, but I know what we're humans. Okay,
Yeah.
so hold on. I don't know if this fits. This doesn't work for me. And what did you got resourceful? You picked up the phone and just called. And
Yeah.
and I that's such a great thing because could have done the other way where, oh my God, these are the only options and
Right.
really, and none of that happened. You just called.
Yeah. It makes it
Not the
work out.
process.
It's really great. Now, the third one is for me, one of the most important ones. And I find has the greatest impact, and it's clean your car. You know, I took a course in personal development years ago, and one of the assignments for this program, believe it or not, was clean your car. And when I read that on the sheet, I'm like, clean my car. What are they talking about? Why is this? What does this have to do with personal growth and development? I didn't understand it at the time, but I do now. So when your vehicle is organized and it's clean, you know that you just feel better.
Yeah.
You ever get that? You just feel more confident. You just feel good.
You really do. There's going back to time and then choice. So I did get into the habit of having my car cleaned
Hmm.
where you can take it in.
Yeah.
And and but when COVID came, actually they were still in business, so that's great. But
Yeah.
I wasn't really going out. I mean, I kind of went heads down and we did two things. We kicked back to relax or we got into real survival mode. And
Yeah.
um, I've been wanting to take it back. My car right now, it's tidy, but it's not clean.
Yeah.
And it's a little bit of, I need the order back in my life. I
Yeah.
need and it's amazing, Camilla, because I've noticed too, visiting a few different places. We went recently to visit my brother-in-law. They live in Stratford.
Hmm.
They've been wanting us to, so, and their place was so organized. Everything is so like organized. And I'm like, that's normally me. But lately, oh, so,
But it's the little things, right?
oh,
Like if your car is organized and you're motivated to you know, organize something else. So to me that was and so I do it all the time. You don't have to, you know, get it to be detailed, you know, professionally. But you know, cleaning it, and I mean like cleaning it, you know. So I find that that works. And I've actually extended clean your car to strategy number 4, which is clean your refrigerator every month. Now some people
yeah.
do it once a year. Some people do it, you know, twice a year. Some people never do it, but
No.
clean your refrigerator. And I'll tell you why this is important. So, you know, many of us, we don't focus on our health and well-being as a lifestyle. And so that's important. When you are meal planning, when you are focusing on your health, your refrigerator is a reflection of that. So, you know, like people say how do you say, the state of affairs of your office or your desk reflects your income. Well, I'm going to say the state of affairs of your refrigerator reflects your health and well-being. So throw out your old food jars, throw out
Oh,
food
please.
that's like, you know, not so great, containers, wipe down the shelves. Actually know what food you have in your refrigerator that you can use. You know, a lot of times we throw things to the back or it's in a drawer somewhere and we don't see it for months,
True.
you know?
So true. So,
Yeah.
so true. Um, it's like every week. Well, I mean, but we're always buying, there's like buy for refreshed bread and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But you're so accurate on that. And it's the one thing, it's kind of like just, there's this process we have where the old stuff goes here and then it goes to the recycle bin, goes here. Now, as we're doing that, then there's the, um, it's nice when there's not a lot, because then I don't feel like, we've just let it sit there and go bad. But it is something you have to, like, it is absolutely something we need to do.
Yeah. Yeah. So clean the refrigerator. And then the fifth strategy, and I learned this as well. So with some of my mentors in the past, and I'll tell you that it's made the world of difference for me, because I always felt anyway like a rat on a wheel, where I was going. So what's tip number 5 is schedule an administration day. So most people schedule it once a quarter, maybe a couple of times a year, to organize their workspace, their desk. Personally, I do it once a week. I don't do it once a month anymore, but if you're just getting started, once a month is good. So what you're going to do is delete your emails that you don't need. Delete pictures that you don't need. Respond to emails, respond to messages, catch up to those communications that needed to get done and you sort of shelved and then you forgot about, right? So organize whatever documents, file things. Some of you actually just really need to clean your workspace. I just finished organizing actually and cleaning up my workspace. I do that monthly, but an administration day I do weekly. Why? Because as I prepare for my work projects, when my space is organized, I actually have the mental capacity to be creative.
Yeah.
If I have stuff in the way, then my attention goes to those things, like open files in my brain, and I'm constantly thinking of those things. So my attention goes here and I'm not free. I don't feel the energy to be free to create whatever it is that I want to be creating or what project I want to be working on.
We just went through it. Like it took I probably, like, the last couple of years, more like 3 years, there's been a lot of transition in my life. And Camila, we wear a lot of hats.
Yeah.
And women if we're moms, we're mom. And there's a lot of, kind of, but you're right. Then we get kind of focused on who our time has been given to and what we're doing, etc. When it comes to the organizing, so there was about 3 years of on and off filing that it just needed, and I knew in my head things have to get organized, because I knew that more was coming in. There was more stuff that had to be organized and stuff. So I will admit I'm really blessed with an amazing mother, and she was an executive assistant for a president and a VP, and really, if anything, she was the C-suite up there and helping them.
You've got some great skills, right?
Oh my gosh, and she's really been instrumental. So just slowly getting things kind of set up and purged and stuff that you don't need and you need, it's done. Like it's done. But when it was not done, going through it, even though you can be as focused as you can, that doesn't take away from seeing.
But you're actually sharing something really great, Michelle, which is most of us don't have all of these skills, right? And we feel like we need to, because I think that when we were going through school, the message was strengthen your weaknesses. My opinion on life is forget your weaknesses, focus on your strengths, and hire people for your weaknesses.
Yes.
So if your weakness is organization, then hire somebody to come in and set your system up for you. I mean, that is probably the best spent money that you will ever do. So, your mom is great. She's got certain skills. Why not? Right. So most of us don't have to go and hire, a company or a corporation or people that we don't know. We could just look around in our life.
Yeah.
There's that cousin and that aunt and that sister and that mom who know how to do this really well.
So true. we call them capabilities. They show up in your family. They show up, and if your family's there and they're saying, "I want to help you. I want to help you," I'm like, okay. Now, Camilla, the more whatever we're choosing to do in life, there can be times where, like, no one person does it on their own. So as you're, kind of doing more, you just get to the point where I just don't have enough time to manage these things. And if somebody else is real, like if they're good at it, they want to be able to, or you want to teach them, and then they can just, at least you can set up the system, because like you can set up what goes where, but then
For sure.
somebody's got to be able to do it. Like it's still that, there's the one thing of getting it established, and then the other thing is you have to maintain it. So how do
Right.
you keep the lights on? How do you maintain? That's just staying on top of it.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, and she really liked it when I dropped off the receipts that were about that big. So
I'm sure.
yeah, but they love it. Like it's just it's what you do. But I like, and I think it's really really important. Maybe this could be another topic another day, but you don't do it on your own.
Yeah. But why would you want to do it on your own? It's so boring.
God, it is. I I've got you need that synergy. Well, at least I find with me, I work well when there's a few people.
Most people, I think it's part of human, it's a human, how do you say,
Condition kind of a
condition. Yeah, I don't know. Like we're all social beings and we feed off of other people's energy. So definitely don't do it by yourself.
no. So boring. So there's a reason. Yeah, it's so boring.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
um,
so those are the tips and
but-
strategies. We're at the end of October. Definitely, apply them as we begin November.
well, it's, you know what? It's really motivated me, Camilla, because I know that there's certain things been on my mind, and this is the topic that what you're discussing today. I got a little bit of finalizing on my end that it just has to get done. So
Yeah.
has to get done. But leverage is good, especially when they want to organize. So
For
yeah.
sure.
Well, on that, have an awesome, awesome Wednesday. And to everybody that's watching, let's talk with Camilla. And just please, folks, you have friends, you have family. Camilla, I look forward to this all the time. Now, just chime in, reach out. All you have to do is put your little smartphone out and type in, "Let's talk with Camilla," and you'll find her.
Yes, and so there's actually a calendar that you can request an appointment to have a quick chat, and I look forward to connecting with you.
Wonderful. Nice and easy. Two-step. Let's
Yes.
talk with Camilla and book the time.
Okay.
All right. So have an awesome day.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.